song for you guys.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I love you, Los
A lot of the artists that I put out, they sound like something that I remember from my childhood or, from my past. The first time I heard Jonti's stuff, yeah, I knew right away that I wanted to be involved in it,
I've just been on like my first US tour with the band Sunny Moon, and now we're back in LA tonight, and it's really awesome. I was born in South Africa. I lived there until I was 13, and then I moved to Australia with my family. I fell in love with Stone's Throw at the end of high school and stuff. Since I was moving around so much, I needed an identity, and that identity became Stone's Throw. How you guys doing? First album, Twirligig, was definitely like an outsider's view of Los Angeles and what I thought all this was to me. There's references and samples to, all the artists that I was listening to here in the low-end theory scene, all the Stone's Throw artists, and yeah, it's just my take on it from a distance. This is the Stone's Throw dungeon. I've always kind of viewed Stone's Throw as like an island, like refugees, like all the artists, and I just remember thinking, man, that's a crazy-ass family that I can relate to. Yeah, I love the vibe. Everyone's always like graffitiing, being creative, and then recording, and the community. I think I always wanted to be part of a music community. I just think it's so strong here, and I always dreamed of being part of that, and somehow it happened. It's fun. Maybe too much fun sometimes, but it's fun.
We have something for every scene almost, But what's exciting for me now with Stone's Throw is seeing all the guys collaborate, do tracks with each other, I like seeing my kids get along. Stone's Throw is my company. I started it in 1996. My dad was in the Army, so I traveled all around. I moved to Southern California, then I started doing shows in '92 with Charizma in San Jose.
Yo, check it out, man. We're gonna go to the studio and chill out.
What is an MC if you can't rap?
Relax.
MC if you can't rap? What is an MC if you can't rap?
1, 2, 3. Green light, tic tac toe, yo. Here we go. Red means stop and green light means go. Common sense drop, cause I truly love the hip hop. I even like to beatbox, so watch out, cause I'm the type of crazy man. First I slam, bring in the red light.
What is an MC if you can't rap? What is an MC if you can't?
Red light.
Man, this damn Slinky.
You broke it.
I'm not breaking, dude. I know what I'm doing. I can fix it, watch. Just wire, man.
What time is it? It's already 3:30?
We wasted an hour and a half already.
I was showing the footage of Charizma and I to a friend, and they were like, oh man, I used this Insonic EPS drum machine sampler. And then I later found out that RZA used the same one for, 36 chambers. And just to loop up a beat, it was long and tedious, It was like $25 an hour to go into a studio, and you had to make everything count.
Come on, pump it up. Come on, pump. I hate that. Check it out. A peanut butter's on to make some swimming on
I worked at a record store or something, and everybody was sampling James Brown at the time, and we were like, okay, we're not going to sample any James Brown. We want to do something different. I sampled from Curious George records, and we had this part in our show where we just started drinking apple juice and had this song where we were just screaming, apple juice break!
Apple juice break!
Just stupid shit, man. Looking back, I felt like we were doing something different just because we were just being ourselves and we didn't know what the rules were, so we were just making up our own kind of.
I'm not the biz
Before we were signed, we were just cranking out songs, and then after we got signed, they said, oh no, you got to go to the bigger studio, and you have to wait. We got dropped by the label folded, and then we were like free agents again. And at that time, we were starting to make, like, in my opinion, our most creative stuff, you know.
It don't stop. It don't stop. It don't stop. It don't stop. Now do you got some?
And then he was just taken, like, at the age of 20. So the Big Shots was, you know, it was a work in progress when Charizma passed away. It wasn't the album that I even saw us doing, it was part of it. I started the label with the single, with my world premiere. It was kind of like an EP, it had a few songs. And then I didn't put out his album till 2002, it was like 10 years after he passed away, or 03. I didn't want to put out the album and have people think that it was something dated, and I didn't want to like over publicize the fact that he had passed away 3 years ago. But I still wanted people to hear it. I think at that point I was okay with people would know. It kind of proved to me that you don't need a ton of toys, you just need ideas. You know, with Charizma we were trying to take chances, and Jonti, you know, I see that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Wolf's and Charizma's record, you can see how, like, the lineage of Stones Throw, you know, it's just very DIY. It's believing that you could just create something, you know, by yourself with a friend or something, you know, just having fun with it.
The first time I heard Jonti's music, it was kind of intimidating, especially when I found out how young he was. You know, I didn't understand how he made it. He's kind of like creating the sounds that I would have wanted to sample in '92, but he's able to just use all the technology and it still has soul. I mean, like Kraftwerk, their stuff was very futuristic when it came out, but it still was soulful. Not to compare Jonti to Kraftwerk, but why not? Jonti is our Kraftwerk.
I have a tour coming up with Gocha. He was someone I used to idolize back in Australia. He's made some moves here in the US.
Just thinking about him opening for crowds of like 15 to 20,000 people, like I can't think of anybody on Stones Throw who's played for a crowd that big. None of them.
I didn't know that so many people would come out today. It's really awesome. Like, damn. Thanks so much. Like, it means the world. Oh, I like to do this song because it's the first song I ever wrote when I was 13 years old. And it's just crazy that, like, you know, people can, like, now come and see me, and I do this to remind myself. So, thanks for coming again. I came to LA last October. You know, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I was just by myself, and you know, it's just, if I just try to come be honest with like a strong heart, it'll just be a great experience. Yeah, and it has.
Saturday night feels so cold when you realize you're on your own. So I put Pet Sounds on and I revel in the song that I heard so many times before.
I mean, I live my life through people like Jonti now. Like, it's also like new for him still. I don't like to travel too much anymore. The trips to Europe and Japan and Australia, like when I started, that's what I dreamed of. But I'll go with one of those guys, just get excited because they're excited, you know. There's just certain things that keep me going, you know, and he's one of them.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Joanne Dunn, welcome to Well Done, and today we're going to be cooking chicken satay. I always say this, but it's super, well actually no, here, okay. This right here is my soundtrack. All the soundtracks are done by me.
stuff, yeah, I knew right away that I wanted to be involved in it, you know.
I wrote a song for you guys.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I've just been on like my first US tour with the band Sunny Moon, and now we're back in LA tonight, and it's really awesome. I was born in South Africa. I lived there until I was 13, and then I moved to...
A lot of the artists that I put out, they sound like something that I remember from my childhood or, you know, from my past. The first time I heard Jonti,